Sorry, SOLARY.
Okay,
but anything can happen here. If Sinners get a couple of good maps, and if SOLARY have some crashes like we've seen, then, you know, things can change.
It could, and I mean, Sinners, they are looking to at least win one game, right? Because they really want to not get that 0-7-0.
Yeah.
0-7. Like 7 losses in a season, it does not look great. So it is tough going in against SOLARY, the winners of last season, but I don't think they've given up hope. I think they're gonna give it their all.
Tween and Kappa have such strong mental fortitude that they're gonna play until the last rounds have been played. Now we see.
Press this button so that the viewers have sound.
Oh, that is a great spot. As we're getting the first couple of bans in, Jnic, maybe you can talk a little bit about those.
Yes, we have Airwalk and Sinuous banned. A fun stat is that Sinuous has not been played a single time.
At all.
One time, Sinuous was supposed to be played, but the game ended before we got to the match. And that's the only time we've had the chance to see it.
We see actually a Vortex first pick from SOLARY, and usually they go for Control. In their first 2 games, they played Control first pick, but here they're opting for Vortex. All the maps have identities to them and characteristics. If you haven't heard about them, you're gonna learn soon enough, like, oh, Vortex is the one with the pipe.
Vortex is the one with all the moving aspects to it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite maps, and that looks like it was called Junior and Pack that picked that.
Yeah, so now the response. Now, Tween and Kappa tried Speed. Yeah, Speed is one of their better maps. They tried that against KC, but unfortunately they crashed too much. They lost that map. It's one of their best. Grip the answer. I think classic SOLARY here, and they might go for Control as their third. We see Breaking, though, trying to put Carl and Pack a bit off their usual elements, but Control likely to be the answer.
I think Control, they also did really good.
Or Pool. Like the most simple maps. Just put them on the simple map.
We're gonna have to see what they pick here, but Control is a really good one for them. I think Off-Road Pack did really well on as well, if I remember correctly.
True. Oh, and you actually do call that out, Off-Road the choice, and now Tween and Kappa get their last pick of Pool and Control the random, so we will hopefully see all of those maps in this match, a best of 7. Get some more
this
Trackmania
actually, like, in my opinion, looks really good for SOLARY. I think they got exactly what they wanted. They banned out Sinuous and Airwalk, which is good. So I think they're pretty set.
I wonder if that Off-Road pick was because they kind of knew out of the remaining maps, Sinners are likely to favor Pool anyways. So you just get more of the good stuff. But that will be the pick and ban. We're starting on Vortex. You can see it here in the preview on the stream. It is a very wild map with a lot of elements and tricks to it that we've seen the players come up with. Different philosophies on how it's played. Some players opt for a bug slide through that one part, and I don't know if people have picked it up yet.
So I think the low airtime jump is more consistent, and I think it is just about as fast. So I think that's what we're gonna see the players do. But we did see, was it Big that came up with that strat, or was it ITB? I can't quite remember. I think it was ITB, right?
ITB were the first to debut it in the league, and they were the only team that had it. But then in the Challenger League, we actually saw Dexter and Scrappy being the second team to really experiment with it. But I think if we're gonna see a team adopt it,
here we go. It looks like Sinners are adopting it. They went for that wide line on the dirt. Oh, but no, okay, so they opt for a wide line on the dirt and then not go for the jump bug slide, which is a series of inputs that does not seem like it goes together, but if they favor it, that's, you know, they're the pro players, right?
They are the pros. Just to explain the start here, they're driving onto a moving disc because they're not allowed to steer the car for the first segment of the map until they cross the checkpoint. So that's why you see them go to that moving disc, hit the reset, and then they can steer the car. Jumping up this quarter pipe, we are live in the first game of the day. Get some hype in the chat, maybe a prediction for the team you think is gonna win this game. But then, as Jnic mentioned here, you see 2 different philosophies from the teams, where Tween and Kappa go outside on the dirt for more speed into this corner. They also have more speed here, but then they do not go for the bug slide. They just do a low jump, and they kinda end up equal to Carl and Pack.
It does look like it's equal, and I think the reason they go wide is because it sets them up easier for the low jump into the reactor boost. But it's got to be something that they've practiced. They must have figured out this is more consistent for us. That's why we're doing it. But once again, you can see Pack do what Pack does the best and be in the front lines ahead of Carl Jr., trying to risk everything to make sure he gets first place. Carl Jr. playing the anchor for the team, trying to secure second, third.
That's a fast anchor.
And that is a fast anchor right now. Oh, there goes Pack.
But the anchor also keeps the team safe here. SOLARY might have gotten aced actually had it not been for Carl trying to save that identity, the pipe, and he does stay on, making this first round a draw.
But it's still a great time. It's a 105x, right? That's what we want to see the players do. Hopefully 105s are going to be the winning times, but Pack, he was 0.2 ahead, I think, so... Yeah, great time from Pack. You guys can see the world record here, live world record on the screen top left if you're ever curious. A 105.313 by Mudda.
Yeah, and I think this identity is so visually impressive because you're driving on a pipe, and as if that isn't hard enough, you have a moving wheel that will push you off of it, or try to, and you have to react and answer to that by controlling your car back onto the pipe. So Tween crashing on the first one here, leaving Kappa in a 1 versus 2 against Carl Pack, but now he has the lead from that outside line.
And this looks like it might be a ace fed to SOLARY on a silver spoon. They can just be just cruising to the finish line without any major mistakes. You can see Pack also saving that turn to an incredible extent, letting his teammate get a little bit further. Oh, there's a slight mistake. I don't think it's gonna lose.
Seconds,
yeah, that's not gonna lose the full. Okay, no, he's still fine. He's still fine. He can save the identity as well.
Let's take a look at Carl Jr. how he approached this with a strong lead. Just gonna react appropriately to how the pipe pushes him. But Pack is respawned again here actually, and is passed by Kappa, so the ace does not come through. Carl delivering another 105, but SOLARY definitely could have had more in these first 2 rounds than what they got.
Yeah, it's never fun throwing away like a free ace, but as we've said before, these maps are not easy to just get through. The pros make it look easy. You just cruise through the maps. They look like they got it all down and figured out, and of course they do. They have many hours of practice, but that doesn't mean that the maps are free still. They're still very, very difficult maps to drive well.
And I remember going into the season, we thought this was going to be one of the hardest maps, but then we saw every player acing the pipe almost every time. We were like stunned by the consistency these players were able to get out of what I still think is one of the hardest maps, but they're making it look easy most of the time. Here again, the outside line. Is this something we're going to see more teams do? They do get more speed, but now they have to release so much to get that reactor. And I'm not sure.
They don't do the ramp cut either. Like I don't know if that's on purpose, but they don't try to go for the lowest airtime possible. That might also be a consistency, but it's nice to see Carl Jr.
He's
driving the 0.7s and in front of his teammate Pack. There, Pack almost flying off the pipe as well.
We're seeing Carl more active today up front, definitely driving faster than Pack in some of these rounds, and I mean, hey, if Pack is driving slower, you don't have to slow down at all for that. But Carl has found just very steady pace here, and this could be an ace. Pack is holding off against Kappa, and they will take 3 points there to Sinner's 0 in that round.
Yeah, 6-2. That's a positive a positive start for SOLARY, but it was also expected that, you know, when you first pick a map, that team usually tends to win that map, right? Because it is the map you feel the most comfortable with. It's the map that you feel we're gonna win this against the opponent. So there's a high likelihood that SOLARY would have won this map due to them, you know, first picking it.
Yeah, and they do have a strong lead. 4 points is gonna be tough for Sinners to catch. They might need to hope for more mistakes on the pipes, like we saw Pack clipping a few times. But Carl has not shown any signs of weakness, and he will continue to drive clean up front there. Pack slowing down a little bit, but coming back with a lot of speed. They could look for a second ace here against Tween as he gets a slowdown into the water landing. Now about a 1 second gap to the 2 SOLARY players.
This is once again a far enough gap for Pack and Carl Jr. to slow down a little bit, at least try to save. Maybe don't go as tight as you possibly can here. You can see Pack, he actually drives over the little triangle that he could have clipped on, but with that being said, Carl Jr. and Pack first and second looking for Pack. That's a little bit wonky, but he makes it through nonetheless, securing the ace for the team.
That's a scary balancing act, and look at this from Carl, driving a 1:05.5. Still flawless, like still a clean sheet on the track, no crashes.
Maybe Vortex is where they've decided to reverse the situation and make Pack an anchor, and because Carl might feel super confident.
And
on
like
this map.
the thing that is easy to forget with the dynamic that SOLARY has is like how good Carl Jr. really is. It's often easy to get deceived and think Pack is the carry and Carl's just sitting on his back the entire match. Carl is the most winning, the GOAT, the world champion 5 times of Trackmania, and if he wants to, he can very well take that role himself and carry Pack as he's doing right now on Vortex. And if he's found the flow on this, which is very much looks like he has, then it is going to be very hard to stop him for anyone.
And you also got to remember here that Sinners, they cannot afford to get anything but first and second place. They need to overtake Carl Jr. now. It does not matter if Carl gets second. He just needs any point for the team. So first and second for Carl Jr. is fine. Tween and Kappa, they need to overtake him.
Yeah.
And it is looking difficult. Maybe he makes a mistake, but that's about what they have to hope for here. But Carl Jr. once again makes ease of the identity, and that's going to be map 1 going to SOLARY.
Carl there winning 4 out of 4 possible rounds too. First place every single time, no crashes, every run under 106. That's just really stunning consistency.
That's Clutch Jr. as we know him.
SOLARY
Just
wins the track.
SOLARY wins the track.
Wins the track. What do you think of Sinners' chances here now, Jnic, on their map pick?
Sinners?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
SOLARY played so well, so Sinners might have a good chance on their first pick too, right?
Yeah, I mean, true. I think Sinners obviously will have picked this due to their feeling of security on it. It's also a map that we've seen this is the second least shown map, I think, so far, right?
Speed is very underplayed.
And I don't remember if we've seen Pack and Carl Jr. on it. I don't think we have.
No, this will be their first
So
appearance
it's going to be hard to say which of them are going to take it home. I think, obviously, you can never really count Carl and Pack out, but...
So, yeah, the one thing about this map, which is interesting, is a lot of pro players actually don't like it. Just straight up, they don't like the map because it's a very basic road map, and there are these turns here where you drive over this yellow no brakes block, so at this point you can't hit the brake button, and so you just have to release in turns. And it becomes this very sim racing NASCAR playstyle, and a lot of them don't like it. We like our Trackmania with our drifts, with our, you know, slide cancels, etc. So it's quite basic on the driving aspects, and that makes the rounds very close.
But I also think that that's why both of the teams kind of favor it, because it reminds them most of old school playstyle.
Yeah, but then you also have this incredibly precise identity on the map. The obstacle part at the end here, you drive through a slalom, giving you a bit of an appetizer of what's to come, down the hill here, and then you have to speed through on the inside of every pillar at almost full speed. Kappa and Tween on their own map choice, looking for an ace, but Carl will get in between them and make it a regular victory. But Tween and Kappa showing up here, and Pack with another crash. Pack has not gotten off to a great start here.
No, today Pack has actually been the one in the back of SOLARY's team, but that does not mean that Pack by any means is slow. I think it's just Carl Jr. has the consistency. That's why he's the 5-time world champion as well, right? He knows how to play maps without making any major mistakes, and that's what keeps him up in that second or third position. Not always on first, but definitely always there to fight for it.
And an interesting stat too, last week when SOLARY played, they first picked Control, and Pack crashed the first 3 rounds of Control against
that's
EDS.
true.
But then he kept winning, dominating, winning. So Pack might be, you know, taking a bit to heat up the oven before he starts cooking, but now it looks like he is prepared to make a dish with Carl here. That is of Michelin quality. Tween and Kappa on their own choice, being left trailing 0.2 behind before that identity, but
I think Carl lost a gear there.
Yeah, it looked like.
So some of you guys might not know, but gears are incredibly important in Trackmania, and if you eat the gears in certain turns, it's going to lose a lot of your speed, and that's what happened to Carl Jr., but he is able to get up to that second place again, and we might see an ace, but everybody's so close to each other. Pack did a small touch. Kappa trying to overtake Carl Jr. Tween there in the backhand. Carl Jr. maintain the lead, and he does. Kappa getting that second place is going to end up in a draw. Unfortunately, Pack did just a slight touch, and that is enough to fall all the way back there in the ending.
And you have so little space to work with. Like, you drive that slalom enough times in practice, spend several hours on it, the space will still be so slim to work with that crashes can happen in matches. But Carl, even on this map, he hasn't made a single crash yet. The first mistake we saw really was dropping that one gear. in the plastic landing. That's his first mistake of the match. So Sinners are keeping up with Carl, but he's just driving a great match right now.
And I mean, even though he dropped that gear, he got second, right? So he almost got third, but due to the identity being very precise, you can risk that identity so much, by the way.
I think you can full speed it. I've seen players nearly full speed it. Once
again, if you full speed that, you have so little wiggle room to work with, though, in terms of the turns. But
mental. Kappa has a chance.
I mean, we see them once again really driving close to each other, almost in tandem here from the three players on top. Tween is a little bit behind.
A drag race to the finish line here between the pillars. Pack once again crashing up to Kappa. Has made a small mistake. Tween though catching up to Carl. Almost had it, but he's crashed out. And will that be Pack sniping? It will, because of the cruise control block. That is SOLARY taking a win, equalizing the scoreline 4-4.
4-4. I mean, that's just how difficult this identity is. I've driven it as well. I have yet to be driving it fast. I always super safe it.
You play this in matchmaking, you slow down to like 300 speed and just and granny stroll it between the pillars.
Well, it's better to slow down a little bit and not touch anything than it is to drive face first into a pillar. But that's just not a luxury that these players have in like the highest level of esports. They don't have that luxury of slowing down just a little bit. They have to full send.
When you're playing against Carl, who's willing to almost full speed it and drive 104s consistently here, that's tough. And you know what is even more fascinating is he does that in camera 3, where he cannot see his car's wheels. He just has such a good feeling in that camera of where his car is positioned that he can use that space.
Yeah, he's very happy that alternate cam 3 became a thing, because in the start of Trackmania 2020, that was not a camera that was available in the game.
Yeah,
you were forced to look at your wheels.
Look at that line from Tween. He jumped so wide, but the speed is still there for him to fight with Pack, and we hope to see a clean run from Pack now. Has yet to make this identity work. Tween up ahead of him, but Pack now pushing, getting a clean slot with Star, and that is a very well executed identity. And it looks like he got beaten by Tween on the line though. Missed that on the observer, but Tween stealing that one away, and Sinners go up into the lead. They can take their own map here.
Oh, they definitely can, and I think this is what we want to see from Sinners. This is where Sinners are shining. They have just a few maps that they've been practicing a lot, and this is obviously one of them. We haven't seen Sinners either on this map, so this might be one of those maps where they keep it in the back pocket, they keep it up their sleeve, and then throw it out once they face a team that they think we have to use our ace card, and I think this is one of their ace cards.
Yeah, this is really a strong map for them. Did play it in that Friday match against KC, but they actually lost it. With a lot of mistakes. So here we're seeing a very clean performance so far. Close round again, but we know that Slalom is likely going to decide the round. But if you build up a lead here in this downhill, maybe getting a better gear in the landing, etc., you could have more space to work with. And it looks like Carl again losing a little bit of speed in this section. And now look at Tween, as last time he jumped out very wide here, but still gets a lot of speed to work with from that. That's a 10th that he now has before the final part touches on the inside. And SOLARY could ace this.
Yeah, they could, but it's definitely not trivial just to drive through this without touching anything. But it does look like they make it happen. One more right-hander, and that's SOLARY taking the ace, jumping up to 8 points, and now that's pressure on Sinners.
Yeah, that's a very well-punished round from SOLARY there. When Sinners crash before the identity, they see the splits, and they slow down a little bit, but still secure an ace, 8-6.
And that's like, that's a thing that people overlook. The ability to just see opportunities and have such an overview of what's happening during the match that you can make split-second decisions on whether or not to save, to risk what the approach is. And I think SOLARY is really good at that.
Oh, they have 100% awareness of what the opponents do. They're gonna know that that Tween crash is gonna be shown on the splits, and Kappa now 1 versus 2. He actually has to get sorry, out of both of them.
Yeah, but they're driving in tandem once again. They're driving shoulder to shoulder. They are just full-on solidarity in the lead. SOLARY showing how it's done. Sinners still not out of it yet. Kappa could overtake, and we've seen the identity take a lot of first places away.
This has to be heroics, though. He has to get 2 tenths on 2 world champions, but he is a world champion himself. Gonna try to push this now. Knows he has to get ahead of both of them. That's gonna be almost ahead of Pack, but he crashed out in the attempt, and SOLARY will go up 2-0 in this match. A great time from Carl as well. Close it out 104.4.
Carl Jr. really doing well today. Like, he's shown up. He might have just been tired of people saying that he was the anchor of the team, and now he's like, today I'm gonna show
Carl's
you
type
guys.
of player, like, you see one Reddit comment that's like, oh my god, this guy is an idiot, right? Well, who does he think I am? And then he's like, okay, you know what? I'll show you.
Yep.
I'll just for you, I'll drive, like, I'll be the carry this time.
And but that also goes to show to every other team that's watching, because of course the other teams, they're practicing as well, but they're also making, you know, they have attention to what's happening in the games. They want to know which teams can do what maps, what new strategies there might be in play. And of course, they're taking a look here at SOLARY and noticing just how fast Carl Jr. can be on some maps. He's not always the one you see in the back. He is also a frontliner if he wants to be.
He very much so is. We're going on to Grip, and this is a map where Sinners infamously did not have the line in week 1 when they played the first game here. There's a racing line that saves about 3/10 in the middle of the track, and without that, you really don't have a fighting chance against any of the other teams in the league here. So they have put that into their repertoire now, giving them a much better chance against SOLARY, but it is still hard. This is the turn we're talking about, and Kappa has crashed it. Between up in the lead ahead of the 2 SOLARY players.
And he has to maintain that lead to hopefully deny SOLARY as many points as possible. Carl Jr. and Pack, it is their map pick though. SOLARY did pick this map, so you would assume that it's because they've practiced it quite a lot. It is easy to make a mistake here, slide out or touch a wall, but all the players get through it. And now for the identity, where you want to drive close to about 190 to 200 speed, driving on those 2 outside wheels, just with enough speed to not fall off, but also want to be fast. Tween getting the inside line, not quite enough to overtake, but a valiant effort from Tween.
Valiant effort and a great round there. They're driving quite close to the world record, driven by Pack, or the league record. Only about 1500s away from that, so great round between the 2. 300s apart, and SOLARY up in the lead.
But this is one of those maps where we're going to see Pack shine.
Oh, yeah. No, he is strong on this track. Very much so. This is something that suits him. It has all the elements, dirt grass, tech, some full speed, and the identity there with the speed management to balance the car is something he's just very good at, it seems.
I did like when we saw this map last time where Mutta, he showcased some rhythm in the tapping there in the ending, which gave him such a consistent identity, and I wonder if we're going to see anybody else. Yeah, that's a lot of speed coming in from Pack and Carl Jr.
Oh, just shooting up in the lead by a 10th there. Easy breakaway from the SOLARY players now, driving the same line through the water here. Oh, a bit wide from Tween, having to let off the gas a little bit, but that will be a strong potential for an ace coming into the identity. And now, as you said, the tapping rhythm, we can kind of see it from Tween as well. Kappa getting closer to Carl, might get in between them to stop an ace from happening, but Carl with a good end could also take it away, and that should be the ace for SOLARY. 5-1 now on the scoreline, and another great time for Pack.
Yep. But that's the difference in approaches. Some people will tap like on a keyboard. I don't think Pack or Carl Jr. are keyboard players, but Kappa is, right? Kappa is still a keyboard player, and Tween both are keyboard players. So you'll see them do this tapping when they do any time of the map, but also in the identity. And what I saw from Carl Jr. is I think he smooth steers. I think he utilizes the fact that a controller has full range of motion of all the percentages of turning that he wants, and I think he smooth steers the ending, and that's what works for him.
Does work out. He was able to get so much speed on that last downhill, but look at this. Another scary round here for the Sinners, as Kappa's lost a lot of time in the early parts of the map. Tween 1 versus 2. Did lose a little bit of time to Carl Jr. in that last turn, but he also gained a lot in the identity. He caught up all the way by, 2/10, so...
Now we enter the identity. Once again, try to look at Tween. Tween does these full taps, where Carl Jr., his wheels don't really move at all.
Why, though? There comes Pack into frame. 1v2, is it going to be another ace, or can Tween defend this? He's trying his best, but it's just a little bit too far. And the margins play into SOLARY's favor. Another ace here, but just by 600ths of a second.
But that just shows the dominance that SOLARY has on their own map choices, right? Especially a map like Grip, where Pack and Carl Jr., both of them are driving so fast. Last time we saw this map, it was Pack that dominated, but Carl Jr. has really shown up today.
He has. 101.4 is so tough to play against. If you know, like, your personal best to say a 0.2, maybe a 0.1, but you have to drive 0.4 back to back to back to back to back, or you are getting aced. It's not like you're losing a round, you're literally getting aced every time. That's the level they're playing at here, Pack and Carl. And we see a mistake at least. Sinners are not the only ones crashing out here. Carl showing he is still human, at least partly human.
At least partly human. He is a machine. but also human at the same time here. We call him the...
Carl GPT.
Yep.
On the track and
Pack also touching the inside wall. And that's actually going to be a sweep for Sinners, it looks like.
If they hold it, they should recognize the splits here. And we do see actually slowing down. The speed that they're trying to balance at is right around 190 if they're risking. But here we can see 185. No risks taken. Clean, clinical finish from Sinners. And they will get a new say in this match. 8-4 is a lot more possible than 8-1.
Oh, yeah. I think it's at least a nice feeling for Sinners knowing we can ace this, we can take advantage. Like, the second you see a weakness in the armor of SOLARY, you gotta take advantage, right? You gotta poke through that weakness immediately, and Sinners did that. They noticed that we have the option to do this here. We're gonna slow down in the identity, gonna save it, because we got 3 seconds to work with. They made it work, they got that ace, but they're not in the clear yet. They gotta ace again.
They have to ace once more. They can actually get one regular victory too, so as long as they don't get second and fourth this round, they are fine to continue. And then we do see a little bit of a gap from Pack in the start. Hadn't gotten the line correctly, and looks like he's losing time here, but the speed that Pack had could snowball. He jumps a bit far though, and tween into the wall. This is now in scary territory.
Yeah, SOLARY, if they get a Call Junior or Pack coming up on first place, they just got to get a map victory or a round victory here, and they'll get those 2 points that they need. So they're trying to log it out. Kappa needs to maintain this first place now to deny SOLARY their victory, but Call Junior is pressuring Pack, also coming in from the back. Kappa does seem to have a good lead. Is he able to maintain it? It looks like he is. He gets that risky finish done.
Oh, and Tween almost snipes Pack. They both did not make the jump up to the risky finish. They got the safe one a little bit further back. 500's difference there. 9-5. They need an ace and then some here. So not easy, but again, we're talking about this mental fortitude. Kappa and Tween, over 10 years of esports match experience in Trackmania. They know if we just drive faster, we are not out of this. We can deny them. We can keep playing. We're still going to keep trying. Like, they have...
Oh, Pack with a small mistake there in the start.
An unbreakable will.
An unbreakable will. That's a nice, I mean, that's a nice compliment for Sinners, and I think they have it, especially coming back from last season's seven losses and coming into the All-Stars and getting second place, I think they did,
they only got second to Alliance that tournament, the All-Star tournament, so that's quite the change-up already, and we really are hoping for them to have a great season now. Tween and Kappa, both just such great, vibrant players in the community. Right now, they could keep this map alive if they hold off, but yeah, get passed by Carl. Both of them actually on that first corner of the identity, and Carl is going to hold this together. Get 1 point, which is all SOLARY need to take map 3.
It looked like Sinners could get that ace 2 times in a row. They were on the roll. They were just about to get it. But when you're playing against Call Junior, like, a single mistake he will take advantage of.
Yeah.
He will be right there behind you.
It's so annoying.
Ready to pounce the second that you slip up.
Imagine playing a couple a day where if you just touch a wall, you're out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it feels like. No opponent is going to make a mistake. It's just you touch a wall and you're out of the game. Okay.
It's like one of those if you're playing tag and you're running away from your brother or sister, and they're right behind you, and if you slow down in any way whatsoever, they're literally there. They will be there. That's how Call Junior plays.
And the aces there really just crushed Sinners early on. 8-1 scoreline, but they do get a reset here, and I love the pick breaking. I think if you're gonna beat Carl and Pack, you have to put them on a map where mistakes are the most likely to happen for everyone. You really have to get a high volatility match, and that's what breaking does.
High volatility is so nice. That's a good way to explain it.
This is one of the hardest maps to drive for everyone. So you're just saying, like, let's add some chaos to the system, and let's see if you can win against us on that.
But I still think that Call Junior has this ability to make sure that he's always in the match. He's always there to fight for it. I mean, thinking about it, in this entire match, I think we've only seen Call Junior do game-breaking mistakes maybe twice. 2 crashes. Oh, Pack on the ice slide. This is exactly what Sinners were hoping for. But yeah, Carl, as you said, might not be shaken up by breaking. Might have actually expected this from Sinners. Because what else are they going to pick? Are they really going to pick my best maps? Didn't think so. So here he goes into potentially the lead. Across the ice. Kappa actually holding on to that. And Tween is all into the wall. So this is a 1 versus 1 for the first place. And the identity on breaking is that they drive with freewheeling and wet wheel. So they have to slide back and forth here to slow down the car.
He went to 350 speed, now 280 here on the last corner to get that trajectory. Kappa released a lot, but it's gonna still hold for him. 1:13.28. A great winning time there. And Tween coming in third. They are going to win the first round.
I mean, we talked about this, right? You guys might think about Sinners being, oh, they always, you know, seem to be just a little bit behind or whatever. Sinners are driving really good paces. And if Sinners indeed was playing in the Challenger League, just one step lower than the Grand League, they would win everything.
Yeah,
like they're driving paces that is like a second ahead of Challenger League players. So they're still incredibly good. It's just that some of these other teams are also incredibly good. So it makes other insane players just look a little bit more human.
Yeah, they do actually get off to a good start here though, and that ice slide that Pack failed is not at all easy, because when you go into this ice slide at the top of the hill here, you cannot really see the exit. And the angle you choose to go in with is kind of locked. You can only steer more, but you can never steer less. So if you ever oversteer, you're kind of in a stuck position. So once again in the ice slide here, it looks like Sinners do get the best of it. This time, Pack getting it good, but Carl losing a lot of speed.
It is such a weird turn, that dirt turn after the downhill on the ice, because in the middle of the turn, your icy wheels get removed, and your car starts gripping the dirt a little harder, which can be hard to adjust to. Carl Jr. seemed to get the better there of Kappa, and now he's trying to get up to second place, maybe get that ace together with his teammate Pack, who's far enough in the lead, but three players are driving on top of each other. The cars are right next to each other. Tween makes a huge mistake. Pack also slowing down tremendously, might get overtaken. Where's Carl Jr.? Carl Jr. getting first, Kappa overtaking Tween, Kappa overtaking Pack, Pack getting third, and Tween getting fourth. That was a little bit of a messy ending there,
Confusion in the observer point of view, but we do see Carl taking the win. That was all over the place. Pack also crashing out, even though it looked like he had the line. But a 3-3 will be the outcome when the dust settles on that round. And we do see an early mistake from Carl, I think, and also from Kappa and Pack. So 3 players out in the first. And I think Sinners just love this. They're like, yeah, this is what we wanted. We might crash too, but this is a great chance for us against you, and hope they can take at least one map. That's how you're gonna start this comeback.
I mean, we are seeing them pretty equal on the map so far. I mean, it's 3-3. Both teams have made pretty big mistakes. We've seen Pack on multiple mistakes here. It looks like he goes for a super
going
tight
very late.
line.
That could have less speed than Carl. Oh, Kappa barely holding the outside turn as well. So close to the wall. I would back out of that turn in the least, but he trusts his gut, and it's a good instinct.
And here they drive over a cruise control block, which locks their steering. Tween making a huge mistake, also bouncing on the water. Carl Jr. is now alone in the lead. Pack might not be too far behind. Kappa needs to hold this second place. They do not want to get ace right now, not on their own map choice for the second time. And Pack makes a huge mistake. That could put Tween up to second place or third place and make this another round tie.
It does. It's another draw. So Carl driving clean, no mistakes from him, but a draw is secured, 4-4.
I mean, this is good for Sinners as well. Like, as long as they're not getting behind, I think they're happy, because they have shown that they're able to get times that are like within 1/10 of the world record.
Yeah, the winning time from Kappa in that first, like the 1:13.2 was amazing, but here a second crash in the start from both him and Pack. That first part is very tricky. You have so many effect blocks going. Your car is in a different galaxy almost to what it's like to play without any effects. So wet wheels and freewheeling and stuff, it's all out there.
It was one mistake from each team, which means that there's now 2 battles going on. Carl Jr. and Tween fighting for that first place, and Pack and Kappa fighting for third. So we have basically 2 shows in one right now.
Oh, I love that exit from Tween. Just the right time to go down that slope and still capture the outside dirt. Gonna put him 1/10 ahead of Carl before this drift. Now the exit speed seems to be about equal, but better trajectory on the ice from Tween. He crashed out here last time. The battle from that third place is won by Kappa. As Tween makes a mistake, that could be huge to deny the ace from happening. Carl gonna have a 1-second lead onto the identity. Kappa making sure he slows down enough. And where is Pack? Is he close? Is this even possible? He's probably gonna try to save the identity. Does not want to make a mistake like the last rounds, and he will safely get to the finish. Carl has landed on consistently driving 1:13.6 here.
And that's still a great time. I mean, it is a little bit behind the world record, but it's definitely up there to always be contending for third, second, and first if multiple people make mistakes. Now, if you are sitting in the spectator seats and wondering how come he bounced on that water, he just drove into the water like any other time, it is because when you enter water with that much speed that Tween went into it with, you want to enter the water in a very, very diagonal angle. And he went too straight into the water. If you enter the water in a straight trajectory, your car will bounce out of it. So
yeah,
he did not go diagonal enough, that's why.
It's even a thing that happened in the start, but the players are able to avoid it most of the time. Here we see Kappa with a 1 second mistake in the start again. And this is a very tough mental rut to get out of. If you keep making mistakes in the same spot that you haven't done in practice, it becomes this like boss fight you have to do every round. Like, okay, why am I crashing here? What's going wrong? And for Tween, it's like, well, okay, I'll just have to try to make the best of this. Another 1v2, and now he needs that diagonal entry, but he hits the penalty grass.
Yeah, that penalty grass is going to slow him down tremendously. Now look at the entrance to the water here. You want to go as diagonal as possible. Did not get the airtime or the bounce out this time. And Carl Jr. and Pack, they're far enough ahead to be able to save it a little bit. They don't have to push that speed as much as they've done the last couple of rounds, and they're driving in tandem. First and second place coming in for Team SOLARY, and that's going to push them up to 9 points.
Oh, and the times as well. 1:13.2 and 0.31 by both. That's just spectacular. I mean, that's probably the best round we've seen on this map from a team.
Yeah.
Next to what Alliance did with Solja and Mudda, who were both around 0.1, I think. So that is a crazy level to grab at. 1 point remaining for SOLARY to win this first game in a 4-0 sweep. Last season they did sweep Sinners 4-0 as well. Could look to repeat it here. Tween and Kappa though, as we talked about, they are going to play until the last possible second here to defend their spot.
Even though Pack jumped out there, Carl Jr. is still in it to fight for it, and SOLARY does only need 1 point. So Tween and Kappa needs to overtake Carl Jr. if they want to have a hope to stay in this match for one more round. They need to ace SOLARY right now, but Carl Jr. is not giving it away for free. He's definitely fighting to maintain at least that second place, and he's doing a good job of it right now.
Kappa has lost a little bit of time to Carl throughout this middle sector, and he now finds himself with half a second to gain. Tween also losing a bit to Carl before the identity setup. Can they get into the water entry diagonally enough? They do. Kappa also making sure that he doesn't slide out there. So he is the closest, but they both have to get past him. First turn of the identity. Carl's going to get a lot of speed. That's enough to hold off against Sinners. Can he get the last turn right? Looks like Carl has this on lock, and Sinners will be beaten by SOLARY 4-0 in game 1 of today.
4-0. And I mean, it was SOLARY was definitely the team that was favored in this match, but a 4-0 sweep is always difficult to call. It did happen. SOLARY showing once again why they won last season's stage. They came out on top, of course, and now they 4-0 sweep. That's the third time in a row they're winning as well. Like the third match of this stage, they're winning.
Yeah, SOLARY are looking great.
They're
like,
looking
so far.
really good this season.
I think the only questions you could pose against SOLARY, being the favorites, is can Carl keep up with the pace? And I think he answered a lot of doubters today with yes, he can. And with how rarely he crashed as well, that was just stunning to watch. It was like you could always rely on him driving not like a third place time. That was like a first or a second place time every single round.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we like to see from Carl Jr. And Pack can always throw in that extra pace if he needs to. He is so good at getting world records on world records. He's so good at pushing it past his own limit. But Carl Jr. will always be there to take the anchor and make sure that, hey, I'll get second, I'll get first if anybody else makes a mistake. And now, I mean, SOLARY has won against ITB, and they've won against BDS, and now they've won against Sinners. Like, they're taking down teams left and right, and especially also some of the harder teams that they failed against last season.